Hello, my Facebook friends. This is Big Bill Anderson coming at you from Scottsdale, Arizona. And I've been asked many times in the past and just recently, why don't you start your own YouTube channel? Why don't you share with us all your videos that you do and you take and put them all into a channel so that everybody can see them? So I'm going to give this a shot. So right now this is going to be video number 1, and I thought I would start this out for a very special man, a man that I knew fairly well, a man that I was in the ring with before several times. And I'm at the grave here in Scottsdale, Arizona at Green Acres Cemetery, Mr. Eddie Guerrero. And Eddie passed away far too young on November 13th, 2005. I attended his funeral here in Scottsdale. Superstar Billy Graham was presiding over the funeral service. And I'll just tell you a few of the people that were in attendance off the top of my head. Vince McMahon, along with Linda McMahon, Stephanie, and Shane. Also Chris Jericho, Conan, Rey Mysterio Jr., Spike Dudley, Chris and Nancy Benoit, Dean Malenko, Rob Van Dam, Christian, CM Punk, Lita, Edge, Luther Reigns, aka Matt Weiss, Gail Kim, Jamie Noble, JBL, John Laurinaitis, Bruce and Tom Pritchard, Michael Hayes, Steve Austin, Tori Wilson, Shane Helms. These are a few people that come off the top of my head that were here. And I just wanted to pay my respect once again to Eddie. Like I said before, he was a man I was in the ring with several times through the years when he began, and mostly in his early years, actually. I wrestled all of his brothers, Chavo, Mondo, Hector. And one of the great regrets of my life, people ask me all the time, Big Bill, is there anybody you didn't get a picture with in wrestling or in entertainment? And I said, yeah, there's a lot of people. A lot of people I have regrets about meeting and never taking a picture with them, always thinking there would be another time for that photo. And on one such occasion in 1989, at the San Bernardino Arena in San Bernardino, California, there was a special, we were doing TV tapings for a Mexican wrestling promotion. Red Bastien and Carl Lauer were putting them together. And on these tapings happened to be a kind of a reunion of the brothers, Hector, Mondo, Chavo, and Eddie were all on the show together, and their father, Gory Guerrero, showed up. And I met him in the dressing room area, and I'm thinking, wow, I am really meeting a legend here. Gory Guerrero, one of the original greats of Mexico. Here I am standing with him. And I'm thinking, oh, I'll take a picture with him later. I never did. And in the ring that night, the four brothers and their father, Gory, took a photo together, which is on the internet. If you look it up, probably one of the few pictures of all of them together. And so I didn't take a picture that night, which was a big regret of my life. But that night I did wrestle the brothers, as I did many times. And I just wanted to come out here and start my first video with Big Bill Anderson's Death Tours with a memory of Eddie Guerrero here at Green Acres Cemetery on January 23rd, 2018. And I'll tell you a funny story. In Eddie's book, which was released just days after he passed away, he mentions me in there in his Cheating Death and Stealing Lies, the life or the Eddie Guerrero story that Eddie wrote. He tells a story that has been kind of a little bit mishandled through the years. Funny story that he won his first championship in beating the Mercenaries, which was a team that I had come up with, myself, Tim Patterson, Louis Spicoli. We were masked wrestlers wrestling in Mexico as Los Mercenarios, wearing camouflage and like army men fighting in a foreign country. So in Eddie's book, he says he won his first championship beating the Mercenaries, and in reality, He never did win his first championship beating us, but what was funny about this story is that Benjamin Mora, the promoter in Tijuana, started the same story kind of in a reverse, because he wanted to start his tag team championship, the trios belts, for the World Wrestling Association. He says, so let's come up with an idea that I'm going to present the belts to you in the dressing room, but I want you to have beaten a famous team and a noteworthy team. So we're going to say you beat Eddie, Hector, and Chavo Guerrero in Mexico City, and that's how you have the belts now. So that's the reality of the story. And through the years, back in the 80s and 90s, the story got shifted around a few times. So when Eddie came out with his book, he wrote in there that he beat us for the belts. It was actually fictitious. It never happened, although we did wrestle him for the belts in Tijuana in front of a sellout crowd. But just kind of a funny story that kind of goes through the ages with wrestling. And I wanted to share with you, I had written a book back a couple years ago called Big Bill Anderson Remembers His Fallen Friends of Mexico, a scrapbook of memories. And obviously right here on the cover is Eddie Guerrero. Eddie meant the world to me. Eddie was a very nice man to me, a very good person. Talent, 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 talent. So much talent, he didn't know what to do with it. And Vince McMahon put the belt on him, the big belt, at one time, and he held all the other belts. And Eddie was a real champion, a really good guy. As all his brothers are and were. We've recently lost Chavo Guerrero Sr. But Mondo and Hector are very good friends of mine. Love these guys. Their talent knows no end. Been in the ring with every one of them. But on my first little excursion here into YouTubeville, so to speak, I wanted to share with you a little memory of Eddie Guerrero, and what a nice man he was. And right next to him, at some point, at least, there is a spot here for Vicky Guerrero, his wife. And Eddie was as good of a family man as you could ask for. And here I am, Scottsdale, Arizona. I'll tell you one more story. His service was up here at a building that's right up where I'm pointing, is where the chapel is for the cemetery here at Green Acres. And the day of his service, there was a visitation around 9 o'clock in the morning. It was an open casket for Eddie, and as everyone knows, he passed away in a hotel room in Minnesota of a heart attack, massive heart attack. And this funeral was one of the absolutely saddest funerals. There's never a good funeral, but this one was beyond sad. Everyone was in tears. I don't think honest to God, and I'm kind of embarrassed to say, I think I cried more at Eddie's funeral than I have at any of my family members' funeral, which is maybe not the best thing to say for public, but it is true. I shed a lot of tears for this man, Eddie. He was a good friend, and I knew he passed away way too young. And we proceeded after the service in the chapel up here. There's a road out here. We walked down the road, and it was a very long procession of some of the greatest, most noteworthy wrestlers around at the time, especially in 2005. And we were here at this spot is where Eddie was laid to rest. So I will conclude with this. This is my first video for my YouTube channel, Big Bill Anderson, Big Bill Anderson's Death Tours. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and a like, and make any comments that you deem necessary. And I'm going to try to add a lot more videos. I go to a lot of locations, as everyone knows, but this is the first, won't be the last, God willing. And I just want to say this is Big Bill Anderson saying, Eddie Guerrero, please, my friend, rest in peace. Continue resting in peace. It's a beautiful day here in Scottsdale, and I wanted to spend a little time after work today saying hi to Eddie and letting you know I'm thinking of you, my friend. So this is Big Bill Anderson saying adios, amigos.